Was slavery in the Bible as bad as people make it seem? And do most of us participate in slavery today? It might surprise you. I've heard many people argue against the Bible and Christianity because of the assumption of the word slavery written in the text. Slavery, the audacity. Anyway, let's take a look at some passages from the Bible and get the definition of the word. In Leviticus, it cites, "You may buy male and female slaves from the nations around you. They will become your property." It's one of the most cited verses when people argue the Bible condones slavery. Back then, you may buy people and debt they had, or buy them like a maid or butler of sorts. Majority of the people came from poverty areas and would rather work in a permanent location and live in better conditions than they came from. The masters that would buy them would have a decent living quarters and plenty of crop and animals, food. They knew they wouldn't have to worry about necessities. Their property sounds so demeaning. Calm down, it means they are responsible for their well-being. They assume responsibility for providing food and shelter for them. And if the master were to die and didn't have any sons or family to pass the estate over, the slaves or owned slaves would inherit the wealth. A passage in Exodus states, "If you buy a Hebrew servant, he is to serve you for 6 years, but in the 7th year, he shall go free." This describes an indentured servitude, a system where Israelites could be enslaved to pay off debt, but were to be released in the 7th year. It also says if the servant chooses to stay, he can become a servant for life. What? Why would they want to stay in that awful situation, unless it wasn't that awful? You know a thing called credit? Credit works the exact same way slavery worked. Except, if you fail to pay it off losing your job, you get repossession and closures. You don't have a master's house to rest in while losing everything. You have interest on top of the debt, taking longer to pay off. And you don't get your debt forgiven on the 7th year. How credit? Hard modern slavery. 1. Perpetual debt cycle. Credit cards, student loans, car payments, mortgages. It can feel like you're working your whole life to pay off interest, not actually owning anything. Even minimum payments often don't touch the principal, keeping people trapped. 2. Control through dependence. You need credit to rent an apartment, buy a home, or sometimes even get a job. That dependency gives banks and lenders a disturbing amount of control over people's lives. 3. Illusion of freedom. You're told you're free to buy now and pay later, but you're really just signing up for long-term financial servitude. Fear, stress, health, and mental toll. Constant anxiety over payments and credit scores can feel like psychological bondage. You see, the word slavery basically meant a job with benefits for some. Others, it was like a credit system just with fewer risks.